And we are live. It's funny every time we do these leveraging your L's, there's always someone but oh man, I missed it. I didn't get the note. It's like, yo, you gotta turn your post notification on, man.
Okay.
That way we can get it. What's going on, everyone? We are live and direct. Welcome to Leveraging Your L's, where we talk about lessons that we've learned in this business and losses that we've taken, and hopefully you, as a notary, take those losses and use that as a stepping stone. Hopefully use this information to avoid the same mistakes that we were unfortunately able to unavoid. But my name is Rafael Jimerson, aka Stamper, whatever you want to call me. And we have my lovely co-host in the building, Tiara Bryant, aka The Efficient. Tiara, how you doing today?
Hey, happy Thursday, y'all. Happy leveraging your L's. I'm doing good. It's a good week. I'm in I don't know. I feel like, when you have like different shifts in your businesses, like I feel like I'm in like an interesting shift. So just kind of leaning into it and enjoying what might come out on the other side. So I'm doing good.
Is this a breakthrough that you on the cusp of or what?
It's like when you've been like sitting on stuff and you're finally like, it's either now or never. Like just put it out and let's just see what happens. I feel like August, that's that month for me. It's like, girl, you better go ahead. It's now or never. You about to turn 30. You can't go into the next decade holding on to stuff. Like we ain't doing that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
No, I know the feeling. You feel like things are going. It feels like when things feel like I have this feeling that when things get a little bit more difficult than they usually be, I feel like something good is going to come from this. Like it's a breakthrough that's on the way. So even though, like you say, you feel there's a shift coming, that means it must be a breakthrough that's either here or it's on the way.
Yes. Well, I'm claiming it. So either way.
Absolutely, we're gonna claim it, as my mom would say. My week has been all right so far. No complaints. It's been a busy week, I would say the least. Again, this is the third week. I don't know what kind of run this is. To be honest, I haven't really been doing a ton of marketing as of late because my existing client base has been keeping us very busy, to say the least. But I just embrace it. I'm just soaking it all in. I'm just trying to enjoy the moment, avoid complaining, because I remember I used to pray for times like this.
Right.
Be able to be busy and not to be relying on signing services for business, and be able to have my existing clients now. So everything has been pretty good, to say the least, with the exception of one thing. So there's a signing service who I used to get a lot of business from within the last few years or so since I've been a notary. And as of late, I've been turning down a bunch of those signing companies who I used to work with because I have my own clients now, so I don't really need their business. But they caught me at a good time. They caught me at a really good time. I want to say Thursday. They caught me at a really good time. I was in the middle of a run. So I booked this loan signing. And it was for $100. I said, all right, I'll do it because I work with them I've been working with them for so long, right? And I took on the signing. I go to the appointment. Well, actually, no. Before I even go to the appointment, I get the email and I see all of these documents. It's probably close to about 200 pages.
No.
Oh, it was just nasty. Yeah. Just nasty. I'm thinking to myself, like, oh shit, what did I got myself into? What did I get myself into? But hey, once you accept it, you don't want to just double back and say, oh no, I can't do it. I accepted it. I'm gonna be a professional about it, and I'm gonna do the signing, right? So I go to the signing. We get everything signed, and at the very end, there's one document that the signer, both the signers, they don't want to sign. So what's the scenario? This is an investment property closing, and I was under the assumption, as most signers that I've been accustomed to, that you've already spoken to the lender, they pretty much gave you all the information that you need so you can get the go-ahead to sign. Mm-hmm. Well, we get to the end and they read this document. It's called what is this document called? I think it's called Business Purposes and Occupancy Affidavit, something like that. but it's called the affidavit. They don't want to sign this document until they get an official word from the lender that why we're signing this document, yada yada, right? So I call the signing service. I let them know what's going on. They say, hey, that's a lender document. You want to have them call the lender. I say, okay, great. But then this is what they tell me. They say, if you can't get the lender on the phone, because it is a Saturday signing, they're probably not going to answer. Just go ahead and scan the documents, and then you can just go ahead and leave. But then they can always just, follow with the client and get them to email it to them, and then they can just email it back to them. It's okay, cool, no problem. So Monday comes. Send over the documents. Mind you, I sent the scanned documents to them Saturday, that day, right? They said, hey, you sent us the documents and we're missing a signature on this particular form. We never accept documents that haven't been signed yet. I said, wait. I spoke to one of your reps on the phone, and they said that if the document isn't signed, they refer it to the lender, and it's okay, and they can email them and they'll sign it on their own time. And now you're doubling back and you're telling me that I wasn't supposed to do that, right? So I said, okay, cool, no problem. We already have a relationship. I'm not gonna go off on y'all. I'm gonna just go ahead and get in contact with the signer. We're just gonna get this straight now, right? So I contacted the signer, explain the situation. It's like, well, we haven't talked to the lender. They haven't told us anything. We've called them, we sent them an email, and we haven't heard anything from them. So today is Thursday, right?
Yeah.
It is yesterday. I find out that they still haven't talked to the lender. And guess what they wanted me to do? They finally get an answer about the document. And mind you, this signing is the appointment was probably about like 45 minutes away from me. Which again, I shouldn't have took it to signing because it's like an idiot. They called me in a good time. So they send me the FedEx form, and then I drive 45 minutes to the signer's house to pick up 2 documents, and then I drove back 45 minutes back to finally drop it off. And it just had me thinking, what is the true value of a loan signing? Now, mind you, because on each loan signing, they tell you how much the actual signing service is making. So let me just run this by you. It's close to 200 pages. Close to 200 pages. They want you to print out 2 sets of documents. They want you to get photocopies of the IDs. They want you to then take the documents to FedEx to drop it off. Oh, if you're at the signing table, they may also want you to explain the purpose of the signing. So with all of those involved, I want you to guess how much the signing service charged this title company for this particular signing.
You said how much do you mean?
How much did the signing service charge the title company for this signing?
Probably like $350, $250, $350. More? 5?
Less.
Oh, less. What?
I give you another guess.
100, 150?
125.
And they paid you 100?
Yes. They're only making a $25 profit on this particular signing. And it just had me thinking, if you're doing all of this work for these particular signings, why are you accepting these signings for $125 with all the documents that come with this particular signing?
That's crazy.
And it just had me thinking, for a signing like this, with all the work that's involved, you really should be getting paid. The service should at least be getting paid $300, at least in my opinion, because printing out close to 400 pages. Because you got to print out 2 sets, explain the purpose of documents, doing the courier service. Oh, and if a mistake is made, then you got to go back and get the documents re-signed.
Yeah.
So it just had me thinking, like, how did notaries go from I guess back then, a few years ago, notaries were getting paid $300 for a signing. Now we're getting all the way watered down to $125. How did that happen?
I mean, you already know how it happened.
I don't. That's why I'm asking the question. I don't know how that happened. How did you go from 300 to 125? Where did we go wrong?
I mean, honestly, I think people just started the business, like started becoming independent notaries
Hmm.
and didn't consider all of the other expenses and, activities that come with like doing like mobile notary or notary at all. So I feel like they started quoting people low prices. And then once you start getting the work done for low prices, it's like, why was I paying this much anymore? That's like me, like, okay, boom. You heard of Benihana's, right? Y'all got Benihana's out there?
Of course.
Yeah,
What?
okay.
Yeah, we should. We should. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Right. So we all know Benihana's like a hibachi restaurant, whatever. And
Hmm.
so in the evening, they have their same dinner, set up and spread for maybe like 40, $50 a person, something like that. And then you can go there at lunchtime
Hmm.
and get the same spread minus like the five shrimp that they give you at the beginning for like $20, $25. So I get the same type of food for half the price. I never go to Benihana's for dinner. You couldn't pay me to go to Benihana's, but I'm not going. Like, I only go there for lunch. And so I feel like when you create that experience for someone, when they can get something relatively similar, just as good, or maybe with one or two less benefits for half the price, that's what people gonna do. And then lower up everything. So now it's very watered down
Yeah.
because everybody going like for lunch. Everybody going for lunch prices when before people were really going for like dinner. They were, going for the ambiance of dinner. But now lunch is available, so people taking it.
We need to.
Mhm.
We got to figure out a way to raise the prices because that's a lot of what I was just thinking. Because it's been a while since I've been there because since I've worked with them. And for the most part, for the loan signings that I mean, for the most of them that I get now are pretty much direct, and all of them are usually like less than 100 pages, and it's not a lot of work that comes involved with it. At least for the last few ones that I'm doing, and so to go back to doing that, working with them for that one specific time, I'm like, man, this is a lot of work for just $100, or even just $125. But then I also got you also take into account that, and it's something that I've noticed as well, is where you'll have like signing companies in order for them to like get their business from like other like for like ongoing notary services from clients, they'll do these deals, right? So let's say if I'm getting paid 125, where I'm typically pack charge you 200, I'm probably only gonna charge you 100 or 125 because I'm gonna get all of your business and I'm gonna get this amount of volume coming in. But then I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, if you're only charging 125 to do this signing, how much volume are you getting to be charging such a low amount? Because a $25 profit for a signing, and you have employees. So now, so you own the company, and then you have employees, you got schedulers, and all that stuff. It had me thinking like how much business are you able to generate off just a $25 profit? So it just had me thinking, man. That was an interesting signing to say the least, and that will be my first and my last time. Well, it's gonna be my last time doing that because I've been going like back and forth with them for the past few days or so. So it's another reminder. It's like, yo, focus on these estate plan signings. Much easier to deal with, less headache to deal with, and even general notary work.
Yeah. No, every time I take a loan sign, I'm just like, why do I do this? Like,
Yeah, I feel you. I
and
feel you.
then,
But like I said, they caught me at a good time, and then I logged in. I seen close to 200 pages. I'm like, oh my goodness, why did I do this? Why did I do that? But lesson learned.
yes, very much
Lesson.
so.
But tell me about your week. You say you had some interesting things pop up this week, and so I'm very interested to learn how everything went, and I want to be able to give my take on it.
Yeah. So I just have to say one thing about pricing, and I'm gonna leave it alone. This week has been very interesting because I feel like for me, I'll get those individuals who are like, penny pinching, and then on the other hand, I'll get individuals who just go on my website and book, right? And
Yeah.
so I just have like a mixture of that clientele, and I've noticed, and it's probably where I live too, but I've noticed that and I said this on my story, like my personal Instagram story. story. I was just like, when people call me for notary, and the first thing they ask me is like, how much you charge to? I send them the UPS immediately, immediately. Like I'm not about to waste your time. You're not about to waste my time. And on top of that, like I'm gonna look you out. Like I'm looking you out for real, for real.
Yeah.
So it's just like I mean, honestly, because what I noticed is people who understand, convenience or just value convenience, and
Mhm.
they're not as worried about like that transfer is important to them, is way more important to them than like a couple of dollars. So I'm like, those people just go onto the website. Like they don't call me. Like they don't even wait. They care less about like that kind of, you know what I'm saying, like interaction, that they don't even call. But I notice that anyone who like asks for a price, they always call. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say about that. Like, don't be me. Don't be like me. You already know I'm more on the wedding side anyway. So the minute I'm just like, nah, I'm not dealing with none of this. But
I'll refer to UPS too.
yeah, because you know what? Also, because people will play in your face and still not, go with you, and then you're wasting a lot of your time. Maybe somebody else is on your other line, and that
Yeah.
can be someone who is potentially more serious. So I feel like when people start doing all of those like filtering out kind of questions, they either start with price or they typically end with price. And people who want to book you, they just gonna book you. So that was that. But in the terms of people just playing in your face, I had got a call, I want to say earlier today, yeah, before we hopped on here, and it was a guy who needed a notary appointment. And I feel like as the details kept getting, kept revealing themselves more, I'm like, this feels like this should not like nobody need to be going to this appointment. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I know I've had some situations where, as people telling you the details on the phone, you just like, I don't think that this is right. So the man was disabled. He also was in had dementia, so I don't know like how far it is, if it's progressive or anything like that. But I'm like, is he even gonna be able to answer questions and verify who he is, where he is, and that he in the right state of mind? The guy's like, yeah. So how soon can you get here? And I'm like, all right, like first of all,
Yeah.
stop rushing me.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's already like you have
Yeah.
to be able to have discernment as a business owner, right? And you can save a lot of time doing that, because it's like you put yourself in less predicaments that could be challenging for you, that could legally or ethically have some obligations to it. And then also just the time it takes to like drive to that like appointment and not be able to get what you need to get done. Like it's just, you have to have discernment. You have to be able to see red flags. So when someone's like rushing you to do something, they're not really trying to give you all the details, or the details like that they do give you, they can't elaborate on if it's something that's concerning. So it's like in those situations, get up out of that conversation, like get up off the phone, because anything you saying to that person, you wasting your time. So I think that's one thing that I would say or double down to as a business owner. But how you feel?
Yeah, in a situation like that, as far as going back to the first one about people where they just call, I just want to know how much it costs.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it worth my time, so I'm not going to give you the price right away. I'm always going to ask questions. And I'm at a point now too where someone starts stuff like that. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to answer the questions anyway, because you're probably end up going to say, oh, I'm going to just, oh, that's a little expensive.
Yeah.
And so in a situation like that, like for the most part, I'm at a point now where really only focus on working with businesses anyway. So I'm only gonna focus on working with businesses, and then if you were referred to me, because if you were referred to me, especially if it's like for 1 or 2 signatures, like if I give you what the price is, more than likely you're gonna roll with me, because it's already like it's a warm contact already. So there's some sort of familiarity with each other, with your familiarity with me. So I was
Yeah.
referred to you. So more times than not, you're going to end up closing that appointment. But someone that just calling you just out the blue and they need it like right now, and they're really worried about the price. If it's like a hassle, what I used to do is when I did have someone that say, "Oh, I'm not sure about that," I would like go over, okay, this price comes along with convenience.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to meet you at a location of your choice. Our familiarity with these particular documents is why we charge this amount. But now I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore because one, if you're really worried about the price, that lets me know this is not really a priority for you. You just need to, even though it has some sort of priority, but not to the point where it's like I need this done right now. It's just you're pretty much just price shopping at this point. So from that point on, I just say, hey, if the price is a little bit too high for you, we always recommend you going to UPS. They always got sometimes they may have a notary on staff. But if they don't, please free to give us a call back. We'll be more than happy to help. And leave it at that.
Yeah.
So for price shopping, and then for the person who called you about this person, a client who has dementia, and they're like, how fast can you get up here? Those particular signings, I try to stay far away from. A lot of times I try to stay away from those signings. So sometimes, so it can go half and half. Some people may have good intent. They may have someone they're looking up for their loved one. It just happened to be like, hey, this is something that spurred on us, or something we wasn't prepared for, or we're trying to get this taken care of. Just know what our options are. I just let them know up front, like, hey, this is, unfortunately, because they have dementia, they're not in the right state of mind to be able to proceed with these documents. There are some situations where you'll have families where they'll be bickering against each other, and it's almost like who gets the power of attorney signed first. And that's the last thing that you want to be in, is in a situation where you have family that's not getting along, and you happen to notarize the power of attorney for them before the other family member got to you. Because what ends up happening is, one, if you do happen to do it, let's just say if the doctor approved them to get their day in the state of mind to get the document notarized, you get it taken care of, and then you have family issues. You get brought into the situation. They want to try to bring you to court. You wasn't supposed to notarize this document. And you just got to think about that stuff down the line, because it will happen. Like, I had a situation like that recently where a client, he had a stroke, and luckily he was able to communicate that he wanted to get this document notarized and have his sister and his niece be his power of attorney. But they come to find out down the line, his niece calls me. Yeah, the niece who set up the appointment called me, and she let me know that his daughter already had a power of attorney signed in place, and there's already been some bickering back and forth going on. Like, in a situation like that, you don't want to be a part of it. Like, it's not fun being in those situations. So, me, I try to stay away from those appointments. Like, if a person say, "Oh, I got this person has dementia, how fast can we get this taken care of?" It's like, no, that's not going to work, because I don't know what your intentions are. Like, people may be trying to get a document signed for the wrong reason. They want to try to get access to that person's bank account. I think I told you that story before about the person who, one of my clients, he had a stroke, and his girlfriend tried to get a power of attorney signed while he was in. Yeah, so you have situations like that'll happen, and if you're not really sure how to handle that process, like having those questions and answering those questions and knowing how to handle those situations, you can get caught up in an avalanche of bullshit.
Real bad.
Yeah, really bad. So that's why we always say it's really important to have like your pre-qualifying questions, because people will just give you some phone. They'll say, "Oh yeah, he's sound of mind. Yeah, he's good to go. He has his ID and all that stuff." They'll tell you that, and then as soon as you get there, the client, he can't even speak. He can't speak for himself. You find out, "Oh, I left the ID at home, but since you're already here, would you be able to just go ahead and get the document notarized?" No, we can't do that. So, yeah, you got to be on your P's and Q's when you're out here, because people will try you.
Listen, they absolutely will, but yeah, be on your P's and Q's. Know what's going on, but understand, on the other hand, you're going to have really, really good days. Like you said, those, referral days where you're getting clients based off of referral from other people is one, because like you said, they're getting direct, hey, I've already worked with this person, this is my experience, but also they giving them a heads up on, what the price range is going to be. So like you said, they're more likely to book you because they're aware of, all right, this person is this much, this was the experience, I already know they worth it, so let me just talk to them a little bit myself and then go forward with it. So definitely double down on those.
Yeah, that's all. And then on top of that, focus on businesses. When you focus on businesses, you don't really have to deal with the BS that come along with that, man. Yeah, man. Power of attorney appointments. The majority of your power of attorney, or the majority of the power of attorney appointments that I've gotten has always been someone who's had a health scare. So they're either going to take place at the hospital or the nursing care or some type of form of fashion. And yeah, it's always good to ask those questions, man. Does the person have a valid ID? And a lot of times the person will say they have a valid ID, but when you go to the appointment, they got this old California ID from 1998 and it's expired. It's like, I can't do nothing with this. Right? And so you have situations like that, or you'll have you'll have people where they just I've had appointments where they won't even have all the documentation right. Like they won't tell you that, even though I should have asked, but sometimes they won't tell you if you don't ask this. Most power of attorney documents do come with two witnesses are required, regardless if the state need a notary. You'll find out that they don't have witnesses, and it's a lot of stuff that you have to clear up over the phone when you attend those appointments. So, but more importantly, like you said, just have a discernment. And and then, sometimes you got to go with your gut feeling. If they don't sound right, if they get to explaining the entire situation over the phone to you, that's when it's like, I don't know if I want to take this on or not. If it's a problem that I can solve, if I can help out with, if it's a problem I can solve where at least the person who needs the document signed, if they're competent, I'll go ahead and do it. But if it's a situation where they're not competent and you explaining the whole situation, this person, I need this power of attorney done because this family member is doing X, Y, and Z, then it's like, nah, I don't want to be in that situation. I'm cool. I don't want to be a part of that because I'm always thinking like down the line, what's going to come from this? Because if you have family members that don't get along with each other, we fighting for an estate, especially if it's a client that got money. If it's some money involved and you fighting over who's supposed to get access to what estate, and they say, oh, well, this document was illegally notarized, and guess who gets pulled into court behind that?
Right.
You as the notary, and then you get held responsible. And if you get held responsible, then they coming after your bond. They coming after your commission. So it's a lot of things to think about. So this leads us to another good conversation. So if they coming after you, not only they can come after your bond. No, the bond is going to cover the client, but then the company that issued the bond, they're going to come after you for their money. You're going to have to utilize your insurance, depending on what type of situation it is. They can file a complaint against your commission as well. So when you think about all of those things, is it really worth the $147 or $97 that you charge them to notarize the document? Right. It's not really worth it. So you do due diligence.
Please do, like real.
Yeah, do you due diligence.
No, but I would say definitely just have those pre-qualifying questions because, like I said, people will try you. They will try to waste your time more ways than one. They will try to swindle you over the phone. Mm-hmm. Trust your gut. Ask questions. And, someone's like trying to rush you. Like, to me, that's always like the first, even with weddings, like when people trying to rush you with weddings, it's usually a scam. Ain't nobody trying to, you know what I mean, run through something. Yeah, there might be urgency, but they ain't like, and how quickly can you get here now? Sir, I'm not leaving now. I was thinking about it, but now I'm definitely not leaving my house. So it's just like, all right. And then even for some other people, it's like, I had a call. My phone has been a little crazy lately. I even had a call earlier today. And here we go. The first question is, well, how much do you charge to? And another phrase, well, it's only just one page. Yeah, okay, like, I understand. Okay. So I told the guy, I was like, all right, well, you know what? If it's only just one page, I really don't have no appointments today evening. You can just try UPS if you're in the area. They should have a notary there, called it like that. And the guy's like, oh, okay, thank you. So you're welcome. Have a good day. Hang up. Yeah. The man called me back. Like literally a minute later, he called me back. And I was like, didn't I just talk to you? I'm like, didn't I just talk to you? And he was just like, yeah, like, you sure you can't squeeze me in? And I'm like, I'll send you. I was like, this your cell phone? He was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, how much is it? I said, I'll send you the link. It'll have all the information you need there. He ain't call me back after that. Exactly. Take your behind to UPS
Yeah.
and stop playing on my phone.
Facts.
So yes.
That is funny.
It's
You
always
sure you can't do it right now? And here's the thing along that comes along with that. If you want things done right now, we need to pay the right now price.
right.
All right. No one's coming to meet you right now for $30. It's not gonna happen. It is not going to happen. So yeah, I don't think but people, I don't know. They just think that it just requires a stamp. But my thing is, because I work with a lot of notaries, and not everyone is familiar with the type of documents that people be needing notarized. Like a lot of notaries are just accustomed to loan docs. A lot of notaries don't really do general notary work like that, or like do other specialty work. They just do loan signings, and every document never looks the same as well. And so it's easy. It's so easy to make mistakes on those forms. And so that's why when we charge you, if we charge you, whether it's $65 or $75 for one signature, you're not just paying just for stamping a document. Like you're paying for the expertise, you're paying for the time, you're paying for the knowledge of being able to perform those particular documents. And so I don't think people don't really understand why we charge just a premium for this particular document, whether it's one or two signatures. That's what we charge. If you choose not to pay that price, I mean, you can always take the risk of going with someone who may not know what they're doing, further delaying your process. I had a signing one time for. You ever seen those passport applications that need to be notarized?
Mm-hmm.
So on those forms, they'll have there's a notarial section, right? And they'll have the one of the main differences between that form is that they want you to put I think either your driver, no, they want you to put the client's driver's license information on that document, and they want you to place your stamp there. And you always notice on those particular forms that says place notary seal here. And I think that for some particular reason that throws off a lot of notaries, and they think they need to attach an acknowledgement or a jurat form to that particular document, even though it's a federal form. So even though it's a federal form, whatever you place your stamp on there, it should be approved. So I had a notary who did a signing for me just like that, and she just put please see attached, and she attached an acknowledgement form to there. Now at first I was gonna have her redo it, but I was thinking to myself, well, maybe it'll be accepted. Let's go ahead and see. Sure enough, a week later, the client said, hey, I want a refund. This document wasn't accepted. The notary did it wrong. All right. I'll just go ahead and refund you and go ahead about your day. So I say that to say, well, every notary don't know how to handle a particular signing. So that's why if we charge you, this is a premium for this particular document, this is the reason why. We are experts in handling these particular documents. We are able to fit you in our schedule for convenience, things of that nature. So if you want the right now price, gotta pay the right now price. We're not going to do it for $20 to $30.
That's it.
Simple as that. Simple as that. My transition. I want to talk about overloading of information. I had a person who I was working with. I want to say maybe on the mentoring side, group coaching, whatever you want to call it. And they felt like they didn't want to take on any new business until they had all the information necessary. So it's like, okay, I have all the information I need. I'm going to go out and do it. And I feel that most people, it's hard for most notaries to get started or see some success in their business because they wait till they have all the information necessary to proceed with taking on signings, where in the beginning, you're not going to pretty much know everything. It's really better to just go ahead, trust your instinct.
Yeah.
What holds up a lot of notaries is like with those forms where they feel like it's not compliant or things like that. I was going to ask the question, like, what are some things that we can do, or what advice can we give people for, what's some advice that we can give for folks that's still on the fence? They feel like they got to have all the information necessary before proceeding with notarizing the document or just taking on any signings.
You really not gonna know what it's like until you actually do it. That's just with anything. I remember when I first started. I remember when I first started, I was in Sophia's mentorship group, and she said the same thing to me. Get out there. At that time, I was signing up for like signing services, so when the notifications would come through, I would be nervous to like respond to them, like not really conceptualizing that, child, you ain't gonna get it anyway. Them people, you know what I'm saying? It's like 30 million other people, you know what I'm saying, clicking it, that's been doing it for years, blah blah blah. So I remember like when I first did it, like when I actually responded back to it, I told her and I was like, it's just weird because I see them coming all the time, but it just like I couldn't like press it. But when I did, a little bit of that fear went away. And then I realized after I pressed it once, I can press it more times. And then I didn't get them anyway. So then I really didn't give a damn. You know what I mean? And you transition kind of like that, but that'll also give you more courage to then go out on your own and then try to find your own business because you see that business ain't coming to you, then you try to find your own business. But I think you have to just go through those little baby steps to just pushing yourself a little bit forward. So I guess practically it looks like if you are afraid to do something, that means that it's time for you to do it. So whatever you're afraid to do it, whatever you're afraid to do, like that you need to do.
Take that leap of faith. Absolutely.
That's it.
Oh, we got some comments. I didn't even see these. What's up, Virginia? I didn't even know you was on there. Hey, I gotta show these real quick. I didn't realize she's on there. What's up, Virginia? Appreciate you for being on. I was gonna say, so that's definitely great. I've been in that situation before where you're like, oh, I don't want to do it, but I don't want to take on the signing. And then when you say yes, when you don't get the signing, I'm like, all right, y'all clearly going in another direction. Right. So I would say for people that's overloading on the information, I got a few ways to tackle this. So number one, let's say if you're just doing like the basic general notary work and you just got a couple of documents that need to be notarized. For those situations, I don't believe you need to overload on the information. You just need to know the basics. So what are the basics? Do they have a valid ID? Do they have a valid unexpired ID, driver license, U.S. passport? If they got that, cool. The document that needs to be notarized. I think a lot of times people get caught up on the contents of the document when the contents of the document is none of our concern. I can care less about why you need this document signed. I just need to make sure if you are who you say you are and is your form compliant. So if you have the form, you see the form, right? And you see it's not compliant, as they say. Then from there, you just want to have loose certificates on point. You just want to have the loose certificates for it on you. So I would say just if you just know those two basic points, just knowing the ID part and knowing if this document is compliant and you got the loose certificates, then boom, you should be all good on that front. Now, when it comes to the loan signing aspect, that comes with people overload on the information. I would say I wish I would have known like in the beginning I didn't need to explain the purpose of every single document. Because for the most part, just like how the attorneys go over the estate plan documents, the lenders typically pretty much go over the documents with the borrowers, buyers, sellers, whoever the case may be. So I was thinking as a notary for those particular situations, it is really important for you to really do like your preparation. So if you get the documents ahead of time, just do a quick scan. Don't even pay attention to where the interest rate is. Where you make your first payment. Don't even pay attention to all that stuff. You just want to pay attention to where they need to sign. Right? If you know where they need to sign, I think, but on that viewpoint, then you're good. Now, if you're in a situation, if you see a particular document that you're not sure about, you don't know if they should sign, then that's when you want to take the time to reach out to the title company or reach out to the lender and say, hey, I have a question about a particular document. I just want to verify for this particular document, would they need to sign here? Okay, great. That's all I want to know and keep it pushing. And that's as basic as you can keep it. Now, as you go along and you do more signings, then you may be in a position where you say, okay, I'm comfortable enough to be able to explain the purpose of this because I've seen this document over and over and over again. But I've seen too many times where people, like even like in those Facebook groups, which is great entertainment, by the way. If you ever get a chance to look at these notary Facebook groups, oh man, very snooty behavior. But it's so entertaining to see.
Even the wedding officiant ones, they're just like that. They're I ain't gonna say they're just as bad, but it's the comments. Like it's just
Oh
like
yeah,
those same people who have their whatever comments. That's why
like
if you on Facebook and you a wedding officiant, you need to get in the Wedding Officiant Academy Facebook group. I don't care about none of that. Say what you gotta
yo,
say.
if y'all ever bored, go into a Facebook group, look at the notary group, Facebook groups, the wedding officiant groups. Oh man, get your popcorn. It is some of the funniest stuff you will ever see in your life. People really have no life.
They don't have like no sense of humor. Like they don't understand common sense. Like it's like everything is so serious all of a
Yeah,
sudden. I have to say one thing. So I remember like recently I saw Ebony 757 Notary Sister. She had posted in one of the groups and she was talking about how I guess the couple had already paid, but she was trying to contact them through text message, and they hadn't been responding. It's close to the wedding, and she's still going to show up, but that's kind of odd, right? That's it. That's all the girl was saying. They
yeah,
were like, "Why would you not show up for the wedding? You already got paid. Like that's so unprofessional. Like why would you even blah, blah, blah?" And somebody else was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yo, these people are crazy."
yeah. Yeah, those groups are funny. People supposed to be acting real high and mighty, like they just got it all figured out.
People
I,
are nuts.
people will be acting like they got it all figured out. Because I'm in 3 of those Facebook groups, and I tell you, I get a good laugh every time. Like someone will have it's gotten so bad to the point where people will have a question, and they'll literally in the last sentence is like, please, no rude comments. This is a serious question. I'm just trying to get information. And most people will ignore it and still leave a rude comment on there. Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't
People
you
are
read your
crazy.
handbook? Shouldn't you read your handbook? I don't think you're supposed to do that. So that's
I
that.
had saw one. I'm sorry, wait, because now we on this. I had saw one that was like a woman. It was a wedding officiant group, and I think it was Wedding Officiants of America.
Yeah,
And a woman was like, "Oh, is it okay if my nephew officiates the wedding and I sign the paperwork, or do I have to say the I do's?" Right?
yeah,
So many people are like, oh, like you said, you need to check your state laws and you need to do this. And like, is your nephew clergy? Is he ordained? If he's not ordained, he can't do it, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, y'all, first of all, the only thing that is required of the officiant to actually say is, do you take this person and be married to you? I do. And I pronounce you husband and wife. So she already said, do I have to say that? The answer was yes, and the little nephew could say whatever the hell he wanted. Like I was like, yo, these people are like they're just nuts. And I just be like, I be wanting to go in there with common sense, and I just like, you're not about to attack me. I ain't
yeah.
got the energy for it. So I just mind my business and tell people to come over to my community. But it's just like, what the like y'all are crazy.
Yeah,
It's
folks
a
are
simple
really.
question.
Yeah, yeah. I see it's a lot. It's a lot of the high and mighty folks in these Facebook groups, but I get a good kick out of it because this is really funny. It's the comments that people be leaving. You would think that they're doing extremely well for themselves and they just got it all figured out, and that's not the case. Everyone doesn't have it figured out. Like everyone makes mistakes, and
Most
then
people
people on there really have genuine questions. Like,
yeah.
and then stuff like that is what will discourage people from like asking questions as well, because this is always that Facebook with damn near 3 or 4 people in there that's who is going to give you a rude ass comment about
Yeah.
about reading your handbook and knowing your laws and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, y'all got to relax. But
Yeah.
like I was saying, uh, avoiding information overload. So yeah, as long as you know like just the 2 basic points, just knowing that about the IDs. If you know about the IDs and then the type of form that you're going to be dealing with, always ask what type of form needs to be notarized, and then always keep loose certificates. Like knowing having those loose certificates is really going to help you out because every document is not going to be it's not going to be state compliant for the
Mhm.
most part. So if you're in a situation like that where you are a little bit like you feel a little bit unsure about this particular document, you don't know if you can actually sign it or notarize it, or if you see the notarial section is not compliant, for your state, just attach a new certificate to it. You should be all set. So yeah, avoid information overload because um, yeah, you will really just like paralyze yourself from just not having all the right information. And a lot of times, anyway, the information that you're going to process and download is not going to be from the materials. Like the courses, the books, all that stuff. They can tell you all the stuff in the world, but if you don't have real life experiences, if you don't get the reps in, there's no way that you're going to be able to handle. You're not going to have the information that's necessary to prepare yourself for the next signing that's going to come about. So, yeah, just go out and take action and just go do it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like we all make mistakes in this business. I made a ton. Like I just made a mistake not too long ago with this loan signing. You know, and I mean, and I've been doing this for it'll be 6 years in October, so we all are not exempt from mistakes. You're not going to have all the information necessary. It's just better to just go along, embrace the failures that come along with it, and you'll be all right. It's a ton of signing services out here. So if you have one particular company who happens to blackball you, like, well, what's it called? Not blackball, but blacklist you. That's cool. I done got blacklisted from quite a few companies. I done got blacklisted from quite a few, and I'm glad to say I'm still busy. I've still got signings up to the eyeballs, and we good to go. So, yeah, don't let the fear of being blacklisted get you out of here. Because trust me, it's gonna happen. And then you're gonna have companies out there, because I've seen it. Because I had signing order, I was able to see all the notaries who were blacklisted and who weren't. And you can see the comments that some of these signing companies leave, and the reason why some of these companies blacklist. If you could see like the comments and the reasons for them blacklisting you, it was like super petty, so petty. Like it wasn't even nothing to. It was like, oh, it wasn't even like for professional reasons or the person missed a signature or a document. They didn't like the way they talked. They didn't like the fact that they didn't let them know that the documents were dropped off in FedEx in time. Like just little stupid stuff like that. So don't be afraid to make mistakes out here, because it's still going to be clients out here that's going to utilize your services. But you got to learn those lessons. You got to put yourself. You got to get the reps in before you're able to get to where you're trying to get to in the
business. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Do we have any more topics? Do I have anything else? Thank you, Virginia. Shout out to Virginia. She's so helpful. If y'all need a notary in Fresno, definitely tap in with Virginia. I'm trying to think. Do we have anything else? Did you have anything? I don't know if I have anything else I want to share with the good people.
No, not really. I will talk next week. I'm going to like this event. It's called Bridal Wars. This will be my first like vendor event as a wedding officiant. Me and my sister are going, so it's gonna be fun. It's like a competition, bachelorette style, like bridal show. One of its kind. Definitely nothing like it. I was on the phone with the lady earlier, and I was like, "This is what I'm talking about. Like that's the cool thing about entrepreneurship is like you can have creative offerings and you don't know how many people will be interested in it until you actually put it out." So for me, like going to a traditional bridal show, you pay a whole lot of money. It's a whole lot of different vendors there. You barely get to talk to people. You get the list at the end, but you know, it's just so much going on. Whereas this is more set up to be engaging and interactive. Each vendor gets a game. You play a game with all of the couples, or not even really couples, because it's mostly brides and like their family. But you get to play games with all of the people that are like signed up. You get their lead list literally like the next day. It comes with a table, and again, it's just fun. It's non-traditional. You wear your shirts and your shorts and sneakers, and people are dressed up, and it's just more fun, but still a way for you to, showcase your business and get out there in front of like people who directly need your services. Like you clearly are getting married. You got an officiant yet? No, it's just, it was a creative event, and then I was like, you know what, let me just try it. So maybe next week we can talk about creative offerings, because I just put out a new product, not for notaries this time or wedding officiants. It's actually for couples, for brides, for fiancés, for grooms. So again, something new. And so next week we'll talk about that. We'll talk about creative offerings and just creative ways to get your business in front of eyes.
I like that. Creative offerings. Creative offerings is the way for you to stand out from the rest of the pack.
Each and every time.
every time. You know, it's funny because at first when I heard you say you was gonna be on the Bachelorette, I'm like, huh? Like, I don't know. You doing reality TV? It's like cool.
No, it's like games. Like, I think she said they're gonna have like a ugly dress fashion show instead of having like a traditional wedding dress fashion show. We're doing wedding dresses out of toilet paper. Bring your
Mhm.
ugly dress, and we're gonna do so. It's more creative. It's just more fun. It's more like college style. So all of it is meant to be like interactive. And me as a vendor, like I can do giveaways at my thing. I can bring whatever I want. Y'all know I have these arches, so I'm gonna bring my arch out. I'm doing a little backdrop, a new backdrop today and tomorrow. So I'm gonna put it out there, see if people want to rent it. Why
That's,
not? Always put creative offerings, throw it out there.
that's fire right there.
Absolutely.
Um, what else you got? You got anything coming up this week or next week?
Um, let's see. We have our wedding officiant social. So if you are in New York, New Jersey, PA, me and Norman are hosting our in-person wedding officiant social. It will be on the rooftop at Tommy's Tavern in Edison, New Jersey. So definitely pull up RSVP so we know that you are coming. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. Norm just came back from a destination wedding that he officiated. So that was super dope. And then, of course, if you are looking to grow as a wedding officiant, check out our stand store. We have a whole bunch of new things. We just dropped 2 new products. We have a consultation template and tutorial. So, basically, doing a video mock consultation with me. And then we also have a Facebook for wedding officiants workshop. It is a 7 module, action taking guide to getting more leads organically on Facebook. So, there's a lot of new stuff out there. Go check it out.
Link is right here in the comment, y'all. Make sure y'all either screenshot this. Make sure y'all tap in for the wedding. Real quick, y'all. Easy right now. Sorry about that. Make sure y'all attend the wedding social. Wedding fishing. It's a wedding social, right? Or wedding fishing social.
It's like a wedding officiant social. It's our little meetup. It's really the meetup. The social is when we do virtual.
Yeah. I'm gonna get out there to Jersey one of these days. I'm be in attendance. I still got to book my first wedding too, so I missed the deadline on 31st. So I'm giving myself to August. I'm giving myself to the 31st of this month. So I'm gonna book my first wedding, y'all. I'm on Thumbtack. I let people know on Facebook that hey, if y'all need someone to oh yeah, I did post it on Facebook that if someone needs a wedding officiant, keep me top of mind. I had someone that left me a comment that they may be getting married and they want to hopefully use my services. So
Even vow renewals. Throw it out there for vow renewals. Some people are, more. I'm starting to see more people request for vow renewals as well. I'll put it like that.
fingers crossed. I'm gonna book my first wedding. When I do it, you better believe it's gonna be on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all platforms.
Oh
All
man,
platforms.
that's what's up. I can't wait.
Right. What do we have coming up this week, man? It's been so busy, right? That I didn't even get a chance to really celebrate our 2-year anniversary in business since launching this signing service.
Hey.
I got some. I'm gonna do something special for y'all. I want to actually. It's been a minute since I've done a free workshop. I want to get back to doing those. I may end up doing like a free workshop on pretty much how to launch your own signing service, signing company, signing agency, whatever you want to call it. One of the big misconceptions out here is people think that you need to be on signing order, you need to be on SnapDocs, and you just need to have hundreds of signings coming in a month in order to launch your signing service. I made to debunk that myth. You really don't. You really, if you get in between 40 to 60 orders a month, you can launch your signing service. If you can get between 40 to 60 orders a month, you're pretty good. And you can do that all without being on those platforms. Because most platforms, they're going to charge you the setup fee, and then they're going to take off their cut off the top, right? So let's say, for example, it may cost you $300 to set up on a particular platform. It's going to cost you a monthly fee, and then for each order, they may take $2 or $3 off the top until you get to a particular number. So you don't have to do that. You can pretty much do it all in house if you want. But I say that to say, yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'll have an announcement on on a free workshop to help y'all get set up, because it's absolutely changed. It's actually changed the way that I do business. I used to think that for the longest time I had to do all the signings myself, and I didn't know how I was going to be able to scale. But when you have a signing agency and you're able to subcontract out the work, you're actually able to buy your time back and be able to focus on the important parts of your business. So whether that's focusing on marketing more, whether that's focusing on updating your CRM and getting all your, the little tedious stuff done that you wouldn't be able to do because you're out in the field all day. I really encourage you all to launch a signing agency. I give you an example. I've had what was that? I want to say last Friday. So last week. What day was it? I think last Friday? Not even last Friday. This Friday, tomorrow, I have 5 appointments on the calendar. Signings in Texas, a couple of signings in California, and then I have one in Baskin Ridge, that New Jersey, I think.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Baskin Ridge, New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah, Baskin Ridge, Jersey as well. And I'm not going to be filling in none of those appointments, right? And so I really encourage you all to really get into launching your own signing agency. I promise you'll be able to buy your time back. It's going to allow you to do more of the things that you want to do. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be announcing that. Hopefully we'll have something on the books by next week. And we are going to get this thing set up. You post this comment. Say, wait, I didn't know you had branched out to a signing service. Yeah, Johnson. Oh, yeah. So hold on. See, Gear, I got you. I'll send you the link for you to join our network. But yeah, it's been 2 years now, so really encourage y'all to get into it. Other than that, we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us today for this episode of Leveraging Your L's. Try to avoid analysis by paralysis. You don't need all the information to book your first signing. As long as you know the ID portion, as long as you got loose certificates, as long as you got those two things in mind, you'll be all good to go. Say thank you to everyone that's in attendance. Be on the lookout for us next week, y'all. Peace.
Bye, y'all.